I got payback on the class clown. His face was priceless. I'm a high school teacher and taught politics, among other subjects, at my previous school. We were briefed over and over again to be on the lookout for any sign that a student might be in psychological distress. While I do understand that it is part of my job, I was always shaking my head in disbelief when we were given the list of possible symptoms: mood swings, irritability, lack of interest in schools, underperformance, changes in interests, and since I work with teenagers, that list applies to about 90% of them. So obviously, that list wasn't any help. At the same time, I had a very provocative student who was 2 grades behind and who was just smug as hell. He always spent an unnerving amount of his potential trying to push his teacher's boundaries and see how far he could go. Luckily, I'm not that easy to anger, and always try not to play into students' hands by doing exactly what they want me to do. So if I notice that somebody tries to anger me, I give my best to speak even more calmly. When I was grading a test in politics, I noticed that he hadn't filled out a question, probably because he was once more oblivious to the answer. Instead, he had used his time during the test to draw a little sketch made of stick figures. One stick figure, labeled as me, had its hand on a lever, up on a risen platform with a gallows. The stick figure with the head and the noose was labeled with his own name. At the feet of the gallows, the rest of the class was protesting with signs saying stop or don't do it. I thought about what comment I might write next to it, when I remembered the training we were given over and over again. Obviously this student was in distress. So I contacted the school psychologist and mentioned the disquieting sketch on the test. 2 days later, during my lesson, there was a knock on my door. It was the school counselor who came to get the student for a psychological assessment. The sour look he gave me, when he came back, was marvelous.